What is up? What is happening is me, Adam, also known as Minnesota Vikings Man 28. And today I'm going to be talking about my mental and physical health. The reason why I'm doing this is for two reasons. Number one, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. And two, I'm hoping I can help somebody through my talk about my personal journey, and hopefully also me talking about will help me in some way. So let's get right into it. From early stages, about the age, I want to say 2 or so, I was not acting like a normal kid, and having repetitive behavior. And so my parents took me in to a pediatric, and they diagnosed me with Asperger's. That's what it was called back in the year 2000. And it was the low spectrum. I was able to, still communicate and whatnot, but some stuff like thought process, eye contact, you know, were a problem. And sometimes it still is a problem to this day. And of course, my parents were sad about this, but they were determined to give me the best life I could, and I appreciate that so much. And they took me to therapy, to this great therapy called Courage Center, also known as something else now. I know it's changed the name, but great place. They helped me um, with what I said, form, thought process and eye contact, sensory stuff, etc. Um, it really helped. I don't remember how long I was there for, but I was, you know, I remember going there, especially after. I know I was still going there in elementary school, but I don't remember exactly when I left. But it helped me tremendously, um, and throughout elementary school, I was pulled aside, and never knowing exactly why, and actually I thought this was normal. I never really talked. I mean, no one ever approached me and asked me about being pulled aside, um, and just go back and work with I guess the special ed teachers at the elementary school. So I did that until fifth grade, and then in middle school, in seventh grade, this is when I learned when that I had autism. Um, it was a seventh grade science class. We had to do a debate. Every The more you participated, the higher the grade you got. And I was someone who really pushed myself to get a good grade. And something like this, very challenging. And it was hard to get a word in. I didn't get any word. It was 3-day debate for life science, and I don't remember what the topic was, but um, I just remember I couldn't get anything in on the first day, and I was really just like internally sobbing. And then when I got home, I was just sad. Talked to my parents about it, and we went. That's when they told me. I mean, well, no, we went to the before school, talked to the teacher, because I didn't, and they said, I have a hard time, with speaking up, because it's with the debate. It was like whoever can get participate first. Everyone's just whenever someone's done, it's the next next person can chime in whenever they want. So, and I was always afraid, because always that person afraid is to raise their hand. And So my parents, as I said, talked to the teacher, and and they told her uh, that I had slight autism, and it took me back, and because I didn't know. And then after we talked, of course, I did get she did give me opportunity. So she gave me the opportunity to debate and talk. I mean, I did okay, on that. For a grade, I didn't get an A. I didn't get an A, but I didn't get an F. But I got my participation shield because she allowed me to talk. And I was afraid. I was always afraid. In class, if I did voluntarily participate and I got it wrong, that would just be more embarrassing. It's one thing to be called on and you get something wrong. Um, it's another thing to be voluntary, like being confident and wrong. Of course, it's a debate, and I try to give my evidence and all that, and that's it. So um, then I'm trying to think. So that is the mental health stuff, and we're gonna go back to the mental health thing. Um, but now I want to go to the physical health because a couple years later, um, in ninth grade, freshman year, I started another change, and that was it. I was experiencing some thirst, like a lot of thirst, extreme weight loss. I moved down from like a large all the way down to like between small and medium. Um, and I didn't know why. But I remember I was always thirsty, and I was like, losing weight. Um, and this happened throughout the freshman year of high school. I mean, the first semester, I should say. But I would say from October, November. Let's just say no, early November to late December, I guess. I'm not sure. Um, but I know I was always thirsty, and I never knew why. And my mom. I mean, back then, even before that, I didn't drink a lot of water. So, you know, just to my mom seen me drink a lot of water, and was like, "Are you, are you okay?" I always, brush it off, brush it off. But I wanted to wait till, you know, winter break to get this checked out. So, uh, when I did go to the doctor, they asked me when I explained these symptoms. I did see a look on their face um, that I knew wasn't good, and they just told me, take a test, like a urine sample, and that's when my worst fear came true, where I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And it was the most devastating thing I could have ever, imagined. And, I was thinking about all this, I couldn't just eat whenever, I have to now, watch what I eat and all that stuff. I have to take insulin, to eat. Make sure to do, long lasting one at this time every night, etc., etc., etc. And testing blood sugar. It's just all this was hitting at once. It was very overwhelming. Um, at a freshman, and um, you know, it was hard for that first year, and because it was a hard time just trying to know how to manage blood sugars, because you had to do the finger sticks. This is before um, the insertable one where you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. I mean, they still have the prick finger ones, but now we now they have just one where you just insert something into your arm, and it gives you blood sugar on on a device, which is cool. And actually, give me a minute. Where is it? Do I have it with me? Okay, one minute. So this thing right here, it's called Dexcom, and I do have this thing right here inserted in my arm. It's lasts 10 days. I have a box full of them that last 10 days, and they give me a blood sugar reading every 5 minutes. So I get to know all the time where I'm at, if I'm having a high blood sugar, if I'm having low blood sugar, basically. And to explain, I should say I should have started out with this, but um, with type 1 diabetes, you can eat whatever you want. It's not like type 2, because with type 1, your pancreas is already dead. With type 2, it's a more complicated. I do not know much about type 2 diabetes, even though my grandfather had it. Um, about type 1, so I said you can eat whatever you want, as long as you take the right amount of insulin. Um, and looking at nutrition labels, that's something that I've always different. And knowing you know how your body reacts. It's a lot of trial and error through certain, as I know, certain foods. Which ones spike my blood sugar more than others, so I know how to correct with insulin. The insulin I take, I know some people have them inject, like have it a pump inserted in them. I just take these normal um, pens. So if you guys know Jay Cutler, he had type 1 diabetes. Even though I like to make fun, Jay Cutler and all the time, but like he's the real, he's a real hero. And he takes insulin pens, like this. That's just the normal food, short lasting one when you take for food. There's a long lasting one in a different color pen, so to not mix the few that you take every 24 hours. So yeah, so that in itself took a toll. At the first took a toll and changed my life and how I viewed um, life. And know that don't take things for granted, because I used to eat, eat a lot. I used to be a very, very, very much bigger um, guy, because especially when I was shorter, when it looks more wide. And I used to eat, snack all the time. Now I really don't snack as much. I really don't snack anymore. It's mostly meals. Um, I still, as I said in my Q&A, I like to bake. And I know it's not good. It's not good for me. But I do. But when I do it. I do it mostly for others. And a little bit for my myself. It's more smaller. For me, it's actually more smaller portions. It's hard, for me. And I should say also, I'm a chocoholic. I love chocolates. Um, And what I do, and what I, it's more smaller portions now instead of large portions every single day. It's more short portions, smaller portions, I say. You know, every day because hard. I can always just it's for. I feel like for me, it's better to have the small portions every day than just do like a big or portion like every other day because then you're just cramming it all into one. So I always have a little bit of something every day. Usually not that much. Some once in a while, um, it yeah, I do depending on what it is. A normal to large portion, but just like a smaller portion of any type of dessert, usually with chocolate, um, is what I have. So um, that is pretty much what I want to talk. That's what the diabetes I want to talk about. And a normal blood sugar for at least a diabetic is between 80 and 150. For a normal person, you don't want to have it too much above 100. Anything else I want to say? No. Um, but I will say something right now about relating to diabetes in my back when we go because I'm going back to mental health, and we're going to be going back to mental health because of an event that happened a month ago. But some clarity, I've always had anxiety. A lot of it has been because of school, because I whenever I can't do something, it's hard to, like it's hard to I get anxiety like it's due. Always have done my homework usually most of the time early and getting I need to get a good grade, need to get a good grade. Like I stress so much about for school. And like for example, one time in college, well I mean still in college, but like early on in college, had a computerized accounting. Didn't know what to do. It was like a computer application. I knew what numbers to put in. I just didn't know what to do. Like I'm putting them in the wrong places. And this was the final, and I had time to do it. I had a couple weeks to do it. A couple weeks to do the final, but like for life me, I couldn't get it. You know, and I panicked myself out that I couldn't really eat. My blood sugar was out of control, and it took a while. But once I finally got it, you know, after a lot of trial and error, I finished my final and I got an A in the computerized accounting because it's pretty much you get it or you don't. That's basically how it is in accounting. You got the numbers, you know, all sorted out. You're good. If you don't, that's automatic, fail. So yeah, that's an example. There's been times in high school, I had similar stuff, but not to the point where I couldn't, really eat, and the blood sugar was out of control. So, um, but going back to last month, um, and I do not, and I want to say before I start with this, I am not trying to make any, point like political. Well, I don't know if this is even political point, but medical, stance. Um, and because this has to do with, because I had hesitancy, because sorry, another, mine thing. I can't formulate my thought. What I'm trying to say, I'm just gonna say a story actually, and just roll with it. So what happened was on April 3rd, I got the Johnson Johnson COVID vaccine. I am pro-vax all the way, um, and still am, because I want to make sure we all can get back to normal. I believe so much in them. Of course, then the news. A little over a week later, it was on a Monday, so not the I got on a Saturday, not that Monday, but the following Monday, the news came out about the blood clots, and I almost wanted to faint. And this is something I can't control. This is injected into my body, and I felt like you know I don't know what to do. What is this going to affect me? I know it was all women. I know it was I know all of them are on birth control, but I don't know if it's going to get to me. I don't know what's gonna happen. Especially, and the reason I say this is because my diabetes. If it wasn't because of my diabetes, I would have been, less stressful. But because I had diabetes, I'm like, oh my god, there's gonna be complications. Is there gonna be complications? Will I have a blood clot? I do not know. And I worked myself up for the next 48 hours. And on that Wednesday, 2 days later, I was at I remember I was at work, and I was helping someone. It was a physical task, and after I helped, because earlier in the day I had a pain in my left arm, and I helped him with a physical task, and um, after I was done, the pain moved up and into my chest, and I was I was not freaking out. I was like, it just a sharp type pain. I did not know. I felt like at any moment I was just gonna drop on the floor, and that was gonna be it. Um, but it was. I was still, I was moving around. I was like crazy, because I want to keep the. I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to keep the blood pumping. But I'm just like I'm just like holding, and thinking the word, thinking, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. But when I got in the paramedic thing, they checked my heart. It was all good, and so they believed I was, I had a lot of anxiety, and then I went um, to the hospital with my mom, because no way I'm gonna pay. I don't want to pay for ambulance, um, and um, they so that's what they did. They took some blood tests, no blood clot, whatever, um, which was great, but and I was fine. I was fine in terms of my thoughts about um, the vaccine. I knew it. I know. Hey, I'm fine. You know, and it's rare occurrence, in the blood clots. Probably caused from um, birth control, because that's more likely to cause blood clots than actually the actual vaccine itself. But my problem I had was post panic attack, and I had um, muscle spasms all throughout my body for like 2 weeks, because it was like almost like PTSD. Thinking, when is the next one? When is the next panic attack gonna happen? I had to carry a lot of anxiety. Sometimes I still get a little bit of. I can feel a little bit, but it's not to that point when I'm gonna. It's about having another panic attack, not anything vaccine related. When I'm if I'm gonna get a panic attack, and I did not, and this lasted for a couple weeks. Went to a couple doctors, um, because because they I refused to take anything, because I was thinking, okay, if this is just a panic attack, this should go away by itself. The second doctor um, told me, take these anxiety pills and pain reliever, like an Advil. Um, so I only took the Advil, and when I knew I didn't feel the pain, knowing not feeling the pain was sort of a psychological thing that, hey, I'm gonna be fine, because the Advil helped relieve pain. And when I don't feel the pain, when I don't think about, okay, I'm fine. It was a little bit of process. Taking a lot of Advil at first and trying to avoid the anxiety pills, and I never took them. I still have them, um, but I don't plan on taking them. And I don't remember even last time I took Advil for my pain. So yeah, that's sort of, and so anxiety and panic attack, you know, that's something, I mean, I've always dealt with, but to have it come to that point, because it's when you can't control something, that's when everything, that's the worst type of anxiety. You can't control anything. So yeah, and I worked myself up to what I learned is that, I work myself too much a lot of the time, and um, that's how I get pain. That's how. And if I think about it too much, stuff like this is gonna happen. So yeah, that's sort of what I wanted to talk about in terms of mental, uh, and also communicating, you know, how I felt, how I felt, wasn't always easy as well. Like, even during the time, um, formulating how I felt to the doctors. That's always been something I can't describing stuff. So that's how the sort of autism played into effect. Like, it was hard to describe how I was feeling, but I know what I was feeling sometimes. That so that the diabetes and the anxiety, you know, that is sort of what I'm saying by mental health with the autism and the anxiety, and the physical health with the diabetes. A lot of things, um, in my life that um, have really, I've had to deal with for basically my entire life. Um, but I learn, I'm learning, and I'm, you know, trying to live life the best I can with the challenges that I have. And if you can do it, I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sort of like rambling on at this point, thinking about things to say, but I think I've said, what I wanted to say. And I want to thank you all for watching. And as always, Skull.